I too rise to speak on the sixth budget that I've had the opportunity to vote on. My first 4 years were engaged very deeply in the appropriation process, and last year and this year in a different way as the leader of my caucus. But I have to tell you that I come to a very different point than my friend from Walker, because I don't see this as a budget that I am proud of yet. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to make this better. And I appreciate some of the conversation that's happened on the House floor dealing with the unemployment agency and how we can make those people whole. But what I want to speak about today are the three areas that we could be doing more right now within the budget. You heard about revenue sharing. As we take a look at the last 18 years of our state, we have underfunded revenue sharing, and you do that again in this budget. Close to $7.5 billion have been taken away from local governments. We have, and you continue that practice in this budget, to balance the state's budget on the backs of local communities. That has to stop. When we do that, that means they can't fund their infrastructure locally, their local roads, their local water systems. They can't hire the police and the firefighters that they deserve to have in their communities. I am always amazed that the governor, when he presents this budget, talks about the new state police that are often brought up in these budgets. But he forgets to mention that we've, over an 18-year period, we've lost 2,400 firefighters, over 2,000 police officers, and this budget doesn't help us regain any of those seats. So I don't get excited about 100 new state police officers when I know my local communities, our local communities, are suffering and don't have those police and firefighters in their departments right now. So we could have done more, and I hope in this process that we can fix that on revenue sharing. The second is about water infrastructure. The governor put forward a plan to look at the Clean Michigan initiative in a different way. He put revenue in this budget to be able to take a look at our water systems. It's not just an issue for Flint, but all of our communities are dealing with lead in the water. We have communities, whether it's Oscoda or in Kent County, that are dealing with PFAS, and we have to deal with that issue. And if we don't fund the water infrastructure for our state, how are we going to make our state safe for all of our communities? And so we have to take a look at that revenue, and if you don't look at that revenue, I'm prepared to come bring a Clean Michigan 2 bond initiative in this budget process to show you how we can do that, how we can fix our water systems all across the state, so what happened in Flint doesn't happen in any other communities of our state. Our water infrastructure is important. You've heard from my colleagues about the investment in Flint. It's a shame. For a small amount of money, we can continue the water service those community members are asking for, that experts are suggesting that we still continue. So to me, it's not appropriate that the DEQ and this governor have walked away from that community. I believe as a legislature, it's time for us to use our legislative prerogative and force this governor to continue that water service. That's what the experts are telling us on the ground. And then finally, we have to talk about our roads. I thought we had an opportunity within this budget to fix some of the flawed systems that you brought forward in 2015 in the Republican plan to fix the roads. The governor, from his beginning, has said we need $1.2 billion a year in new revenue. This might be a record number, but you're nowhere near $1.2 billion in road funding this year. You're at least $500 million away from that. So you can pat yourself on the back saying we've got a little bit more road money, but you're not actually solving the problem. And right now, there's $125 million on this budget that has not been allocated anywhere. A few weeks ago, you asked us to move money for the roads, $175 million. You basically took it from this budget and spent it in the previous budget, the one we're in right now. I had no problem with that. But you actually have $125 million on the budget balance that we can be using today for this. So instead of the game that you played a month or two ago by shifting that money from one budget year to another, you have $125 million that we can do today to fund our roads. And I can't tell you that in any community gathering that I've gone to in this state that anybody says that we're funding our roads at the right level. So why, when you have $125 million sitting there, not allocated towards anything, that you don't use it for the roads? It's beyond me. Do you not hear your own citizens? Do you not hear the people of the state of Michigan demanding our roads to be fixed? We're offering these solutions, whether it's our water infrastructure, our revenue sharing, or our roads, take us up on that. We have the opportunity over these next few weeks as we work with the Senate to put these things in the budget, to make this budget right, to make sure we're investing in our communities. And that's the process that I ask that we all take a look at. And that's why I'm voting against this budget, with the hope that we can actually begin to focus on our roads, our water, and our local communities. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative.